Am I the a-hole for bringing my own food to my friend's dinner party? So this happened about 3 weeks ago, and the drama is still rippling through my friend group. I need to know if I was out of line or if I just finally stood my ground. My friend Lena hosted what she called a plant-based harvest celebration at her house. She's been vegan for about 5 years and she's, let's say, very evangelical about it. Think, not just animal rights, but constantly posting about how leather is murder, lectures about dairy at brunch, and once telling a guy he had violence on his plate during a backyard barbecue. Now, I'm not anti-vegan at all. I respect people's choices and Lena is entitled to run her household how she wants. I also try to be considerate. But I have a medical condition, reactive hypoglycemia, and managing my blood sugar is something I have to take seriously. I work with a nutritionist, and while I try to be flexible, the fact is, if I don't get balanced protein with my meals, I start to feel faint, shaky, and sometimes get blurry vision. It's not dramatic, just inconvenient and uncomfortable. It's happened in public before and it's not something I'm eager to repeat. I've learned over time that for me, lentils and tofu don't always cut it. Sometimes they do. But it's unpredictable and I'd rather not gamble with my body just to be polite. I explained this to Lena a year ago after one of her brunches, when I had to leave early and go home and basically slam an emergency protein shake. Fast forward to her harvest dinner invite. I RSVP'd yes, thanked her for the invite, and texted her privately. Hey, super excited for the dinner. Just a heads up, because of my blood sugar stuff, would you mind if I brought a small container of chicken and rice with me? Nothing big or disruptive, just a little protein I can eat alongside the amazing food you're making. She replied, pretty quickly. I'd really prefer if you didn't. I'm creating a safe vegan space and it would honestly feel like a violation to have meat here. I hope you understand. Now, part of me wanted to push back. But I didn't. I said, totally get it. Thanks for being honest. But then I spent the next few days debating what to do. I didn't want to flake, she had clearly put a lot of effort into this. She even sent out a Pinterest board with ambience inspiration and suggested everyone wear earth tones. So I decided to go, but I brought a backup plan, a Tupperware with my own portion of plain grilled chicken and brown rice. I figured if the vegan dishes were super hearty, great. I wouldn't even need it. But if I needed protein, it was there. I did bring it in my large tote, tucked between a scarf and a book. I didn't parade it in. I didn't announce it. I waited until we were all seated, dishes passed around, and everyone was deep in conversation about astrology or compost or something. Then I quietly served myself the vegan dishes, roasted carrots, squash soup, quinoa stuffed peppers, and gently scooped my chicken and rice onto the side of my plate. No drama. No smell. No announcement. But halfway through the meal, Lena suddenly stops talking mid-sentence. She stares at my plate like I'd just put a severed head on it. Then she asks, sharp as a knife. Wait. Is that meat? I didn't even get to answer before someone else next to her says, oh, yeah, looks like chicken? The room goes quiet. It was the kind of silence that makes you aware of every fork clink and every chair creak. I calmly said, yes. I brought a little portion from home. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful at all, I just didn't want to risk another crash, like what happened at your brunch. Lena's eyes narrow. She sets her fork down. I specifically asked you not to bring animal products into my home. This was supposed to be a shared experience. A safe, ethical space. You knew that. I said I understood her stance, but that I had to look after my health too, and I'd done everything I could to be discreet. I didn't bring a steak or a bucket of wings. I didn't criticize her food. Hell, I was eating her food. She didn't yell, but she was ice cold the rest of the night. Barely made eye contact with me. After dessert, which I awkwardly skipped because I was still feeling weird from the confrontation, I said my thank yous and left quietly. Then, around midnight, I get a text from Lena. I'm deeply disappointed. You crossed a boundary. You could have supported me for one night instead of centering yourself. I need space. The next day, 2 mutual friends messaged me privately and said they thought it was kind of shocking that I brought meat and that it ruined the vibe, but 3 other friends from the dinner texted me to say Lena massively overreacted, and that they didn't even notice I had meat until she pointed it out. Since then, it's been tense. I haven't spoken to Lena. She's posted vague Instagram stories about betrayal and respecting spaces. A few friends have been distant. Someone even uninvited me from a potluck saying we want to avoid drama, like I'm some chicken smuggler sowing chaos. Anyway, I genuinely didn't want to hurt anyone. I just didn't want to pass out over a quinoa stuffed squash. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for bringing my own food to a vegan dinner party, even after the host asked me not to? TLDR. I have a medical condition that requires consistent protein intake. My vegan friend hosted a dinner and asked me not to bring animal products. I brought a tiny portion of chicken and rice in a discreet container to avoid a blood sugar crash. She noticed, called me out in front of everyone, and now says I disrespected her home and the spirit of the night. Some friends agree with her. I think I was being reasonable. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because of the dress code? This has caused a major rift in my family and honestly, I'm still kind of stunned it escalated this far. I, 28F, declined to attend my sister's, 30F, wedding because she didn't want me there unless I followed a very specific dress code. Now I'm being called selfish, dramatic, and even toxic by some family members. So yeah, I need an outside opinion. For context, I've always been the black sheep in a fairly preppy, aesthetic-obsessed family. Not metaphorically, I mean literally. My wardrobe is like 80% black. I've been into alternative fashion since I was a teen, think structured black dresses, leather boots, dark lipstick, clean lines. Not full goth, but definitely not into florals or frills. Meanwhile, my older sister Claire has always been the golden child. Think Anthropology catalog but dialed up to 11. Her Instagram is all wide-brimmed hats, farmers markets, and filter-heavy photos of lavender fields. She recently got super into the cottagecore aesthetic, like, aggressively so. It's her entire personality now. Which is fine. Everyone's entitled to their vibe. So when she got engaged, we all knew the wedding would be some kind of curated visual fairy tale. She started sending out Pinterest boards and mood boards months before the invites. The theme? Pastel-coded whimsy. I'm talking lace gloves, flower crowns, picnic blankets, and a literal dress code. The invite, a pressed flower booklet tied with twine, said guests were required to wear soft pastels, think dusty rose, sage green, butter yellow, baby blue, or lavender. No bold colors. No black. No exceptions. I figured it was a suggestion, not a mandate. So I texted Claire and said I'd be happy to show up in something clean and formal, but that pastels really aren't my thing and I'd probably wear a simple black or charcoal dress instead. It wouldn't be flashy, just my usual understated look. I even offered to add a pastel accessory if it helped blend in. Her response? I love you, but your black clothes would ruin the aesthetic. You'll stand out in photos, and it won't match the vibe I'm trying to create. Please just wear something light. It's one day. That really bugged me. I'm not trying to be the main character at her wedding. But I also don't believe in spending $150 plus on a pastel outfit that I'll never wear again, just to blend into a theme like I'm part of the floral arrangements. It felt like she cared more about the photo album than the people in it. I tried to compromise. I asked if a white blouse and a dark skirt would be okay. She said no, too stark. I asked if I could wear a muted gray-green jumpsuit I already owned. Still no, not pastel enough. Finally, I asked if it would truly matter if I wore a simple black beep-tail dress, stood at the back during photos, and didn't draw attention. She flat out said, "If you can't respect the theme, then I'd rather you didn't come." So, I didn't. I declined the invite. Politely. I didn't post about it. I didn't complain to our relatives. I simply RSVP'd no and sent a very nice card and a generous gift from their registry. I figured that was that. Except it wasn't. The wedding happened last weekend and I woke up the next morning to a firestorm of texts from my parents, aunt, cousins, even Claire's new husband messaged me to say I'd broken her heart by not being there. Apparently Claire told people I refused to come out of vanity, that I couldn't be bothered to wear something pretty, and that I prioritized my wardrobe over family. My mom is particularly furious and said, "It's just clothes. You missed your sister's wedding over clothes." But it wasn't just clothes. It was the principle. I'm all for being respectful of someone's big day, but I don't think it's fair to demand your guests mold themselves into your Pinterest board. I didn't want to make a scene. I just didn't want to compromise my identity to be an aesthetic prop in someone else's fantasy. Some friends say I stood up for myself and my values. Others say I should have just sucked it up and worn the stupid pastel dress. So, Reddit. Am I the a-hole for skipping my sister's wedding because I refused to wear pastels? TLDR. Sister's wedding had a pastel cottagecore dress code and banned black or bold colors. I don't own pastels and wasn't willing to buy a whole new outfit I'd never wear again. She told me not to come if I wouldn't match her theme, so I RSVP'd no. Now the whole family's mad and says I'm selfish. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for snitching on my coworker for leaving work early every Friday? I, 29F, work in a mid-sized marketing agency where the culture is, let's say, casual. People come and go a little freely, take long lunches, and as long as deadlines are met, managers don't breathe down our necks. Or, at least, they didn't used to. Until recently. There's a guy on my team, Chris, 31M, who started earlier this year. He's chill in a way that honestly rubs me the wrong way. Like, he's good at his job, but also, way too relaxed about it. Shows up late sometimes, always has headphones in, plays with one of those dumb fidget cubes during meetings. The kind of guy who makes work-life balance his whole personality. Anyway, for the last couple of months, I started noticing something. Every Friday, he would just disappear from the office around 3:30 p.m. Our end-of-day check-ins are usually around 5 o'clock, but he'd always have an excuse. "Oh, I sent my update by email," or "I had a dentist appointment." Thing is, it wasn't just once or twice. It became a pattern. He'd clock out early, sometimes not log it properly in our timesheet app, and still collect his full hours like the rest of us, busting it until close. Now here's where things get complicated. Our manager called a meeting 2 weeks ago and mentioned that our team's productivity was down. Nothing accusatory, but she said she was reviewing timesheets and wanted to understand why deadlines were getting tighter. So I told her the truth. I said that I'd noticed Chris leaving early most Fridays and that I wasn't sure he was always logging his time accurately. I didn't mean to throw him under the bus, I just thought she should know what I'd been seeing. She thanked me and said she'd look into it. I figured that would be the end of it. But the fallout has been dramatic. Last Monday, Chris came into work looking furious. He didn't say anything to me directly, but he was cold. No good mornings, no nods. Just completely iced me out. I didn't think much of it, maybe he was having a bad day. Then someone let it slip that he'd been talked to by our manager and given a warning. Apparently she checked the logs and confirmed what I said. Now, his hours are being more closely monitored and he's livid. Later that day, while walking by the break room, I overheard him mutter "corporate spy" under his breath to someone. When I walked in, both of them stopped talking. I won't lie, that stung. The vibe in the office shifted. A few people, especially the younger staff, started treating me differently. No one's been outright rude, but there's a chill. I'm not invited to lunch anymore. One coworker even took me off a group chat and made a new one just for memes without me. I feel like I'm being punished for doing the right thing. I didn't want to get anyone in trouble, but we're all expected to work the same hours, and if some people are quietly ducking out early every week, shouldn't that be addressed? But the more I think about it, the more I wonder, was I too quick to report it? Should I have just talked to Chris first? Or let it go? I'm not trying to be a teacher's pet or anything, but now I'm the one feeling isolated and humiliated. Chris still has his job. He's just mad he got caught. So, am I the a-hole for snitching on a coworker for quietly leaving work early on Fridays? TLDR. Coworker kept ducking out early on Fridays and not logging his hours. When my manager asked why team productivity was down, I told her what I'd seen. He got reprimanded and now calls me a corporate spy. Everyone's being cold to me now and I feel like I'm being punished for speaking up. Am I the a-hole?